Hello everyone, good evening. I am Yukti and I am currently serving as the National Treasurer for 68th year of NASA India, and I welcome you all to the Winners Way of GRIHA Trophy this year. We have assembled all of us here today so that we can discuss and dissect all of the strategies that you guys used for winning the GRIHA Trophy last year, and how exactly you approached the trophy brief, how you handled certain challenges, how you tackled the whole trophy as a whole, and then different parts of it, the design part, the sustainability part, how did you manage a lot of constraints for that particular site. So, all of the challenges that you faced in completing the trophy last year, and what are the things that you feel helped you win the trophy, so that the students who are watching the session will be able to learn from your experience and perhaps do much better in their own trophies as well. So, with that being said, I think we can start the GRIHA winners way right now. First off, we'll start with Z301, Department of Architecture, VNIT, who won citation in last year's GRIHA Trophy.
Yes, thank you, Yukti. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nandini Bhagat, the 67th Unit Secretary of Z301. And I have my trophy coordinators with me, Shalmali, Dattaputra, and Chirantan. We'll be walking you through our design submission for the 67th GRIHA Trophy. To briefly explain our design intent and how, keeping sustainability in mind, we came up with a coherent people-centric architectural solution to design a resort in Junnar district of Pune. I shall share my screen. Yes. Basically, the cover reflects a core idea of harmony between nature, community, and sustainability, which is the literal meaning of the name of our resort, that is Sanitha. Now, the first sheet sets the foundation of our design, speaking about climate, users, urban context, demographics, and local culture. Studying these points from official websites help us to design directly from the data and not from any assumptions. Finally, the form development was inspired from the Warli design. The circles that was a conscious design solution to reflect togetherness, local identity, and social interaction, rather than simply keeping it as an isolated resort experience.
Yes, thank you, Nandini, for a wonderful introduction. So, as we have seen how we developed our plan form development through the Warli Arc. So there is in the brief they mentioned about the drywall construction while developing the concept development. So our concept is also rooted in the philosophy of Panchabuddha, where our main drywall harmony is through the five elements of the nature, where earth through sustainable local materials, water and fire through moisture and fire resist treatments, and air in the light structure, and space through open layouts. So if we seeing our site plan, so we have divided our site plan into the three zones, where public area and private and semi private areas, and we have worked on the program according to the GRIHA criteria, taking into the consideration the bylaws and the guidelines of the resort. We have seen the how many, what is the population density as per the GRIHA criteria, and taken into the consideration in deciding the number of cottages for the resort, and uh, for the local improvement and we have created some recreational spaces along with the services provided in the admin area. After that, we have provided a circulation plans to understand free flow of guest circulation, physically disabled circulation, and staff circulation. Also, as we see, our site is have a huge contour difference from entrance to the end of the site. So we have understood how which zone will be fitted to the according to the site contour. And we have provided a construction plan to seamless design and to help the say construction workers for the safety and sanitation of uh, people.
So good evening, everyone. Yeah, so as Datta mentioned, one of our core principle in this brief was to incorporate drywall in our design. So we started off by noting down the structural and non-structural components inside the building where we could use different types of drywall and their joineries. So we also started off with the with shortlisting of materials and how we could incorporate them in these joineries. So our way was to perform some sketches and models through which we could accurately demonstrate how each of those materials and components would sit with each other. So as we did that, we performed many experiential models, and through the process, we finally decided on this wall assembly, which through all of these criterias like material, the type of waste it generates, the thickness, the weight, so and the thermal insulence. So the cavity between these dry walls also increases the thermal insulation and the acoustic insulation between the interior and exterior spaces. And mainly after it reduces the weight, it decreases the carbon impact also, which is being produced. So we also decided on the roof assemblies with the similar process of the sketching and then modeling. So yeah.
Yeah, as per the program we have discussed in the site plan, we have provided gym and three levels of cottages to consider in the brief to show the luxury of the resort in three levels, and the restaurant, admin area, and quad sharing. And there are the some views which shows the glimpse of our resorts. Next. So in the sections and elevations, this side elevation, we can see how side the contours has been, design has been beautifully fitted in the side. So using the higher contours for taking cottages in three different levels, considering the luxury of the resort, and also creating openness in the side creates circulation, ventilation, and provides a passive cooling strategies. And also we incorporated local architecture. Seeing the front elevation, we can see the charjas and the overhangs and uh, sloping roofs shows the local architecture development. Next.
Am I audible?
Yes, Yukti.
Yes. So I hope you have completed with the presentation, or is there something you want to add on here?
Yeah, we would like to add on about the energy management and water and also the waste management in the upcoming three sheets, and then how we incorporated health and well-being, and then the carbon impact.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can complete the presentation then. I just thought since you had stopped, if it was
Yes,
complete.
there was a technical issue. I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. No
So,
issues.
coming to the previous slide, the energy and
Then we went ahead with the water management, where we initially calculated the amount of water which will be required on by all the users in one day, and then being forward calculated into an entire year. And to compensate all of the water that we are using, we have also made use of different kind of strategies such as biopond, biocharcoal filters, or drip irrigation, root zone treatment, just to purify all the waters. And we have also made sure that the water flows through a particular way throughout the site, and then it is drained off with the help of natural slope which is existing in the site. Moving ahead, we also try to take care of the waste management in the site, where we have calculated the generated waste and then followed the steps of composting, segregation, making manure out of it, and then again using it into the site as a kitchen gardening. Apart from that, we have also made use of uh, different kind of treatments in order to take care of the solid waste which is being generated on the site. And here is the modular design of the twin and cord sharing cottages that we have used in our design throughout the design.
Yeah, so coming to the carbon impact part of the design, so as we finalize the materials and the components which were used in the design, we noted down the amount of materials that would require in quantity and the cost of those materials, and then we pinpointed the sources of that materials where we could transport it from. So we could determine the amount of carbon impact for the transport of the material and its usage. And then as you can see in this page, there are these bars which are measuring the different aspects like carbon emission, embodied carbon, and energy and water. So based on the amount of materials which were being used and how they were being fixed into the building, we could add them into this software so that we could determine these graphs of how much carbon emissions we are reducing uh, to to cater to the GRIHA guidelines in the end. So we finalized our design based after adding these graphs. We finalized the design further, due to which how much carbon emission and embodied carbon it would reduce. So we also tried to keep the circular economy, and some innovations which we had discussed were cable cart and roof over the OAT, which we had discussed within our group, within our team, and landed onto these two innovations. So the next aspect was health and well-being, where we used some tools inside Rhino to perform the CFD analysis and daylight analysis, and some also to we used other strategies like passive ventilation, visual comfort, and acoustic comfort and guest comfort strategies with indoor comfort. So the universal accessibility part, we try to give that through ramps, sensory signages, greater openings, and braille on the railings, and also all gender washroom and tactile flooring when the circulation was happening. So this all of these performances that were mentioned could be monitored through these metering devices, which were waste metering, no smoking uh, sensors, soil quality monitors, and soil quantity, soil lighting, light pollution sensors, and pollution monitors. So,
The last sheet is a summary where everything comes together. How we address the three pillars of sustainability through our design, fulfilling the mentioned GRIHA criteria, so that the design is inclusive and impactful after it is occupied. Yep, that's it. Do we play the walkthrough of our design, Yukti, or no?
Yeah, that'll be great if you can just show. How long is it, by the way?
Can you repeat? I'm sorry.
How long is the walkthrough?
It is 2.5 minutes.
Sure, you can play it.
Okay. that's it from our side. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have a few questions for you guys.
Sure.
Firstly, since every year, so the challenge for Griha Trophy is to build a Griha 5-star rated building. But apart from that, also every year we have some special elements. So last time we had drywall construction that needed to be integrated, and this year we have Maiwan. So I want to ask that it says in the brief that usually the drywall construction is only used for partition walls, but you need to come up with more creative and flexible ways how to integrate it into the design. So how exactly did you tackle that issue?
So for this, I can say we have went through the construction techniques, various construction techniques, what type of like how we can incorporate drywall strong. So that's why we have came up with the two drywalls, for one for interior, one for exterior. So the compositions of drywalls are different, which exterior wall can can stand like, in front of the weather uh, and also we have to seeing the construction techniques like prefabrication we have used, so that like a 2D type of construction and 3D, where for a small type of cottages we have as a bring we can bring build containers to the site, and for the large structures like admin area and all, we have you used like assemble like walls are uh, can be assembled in the site. So like that, we have seen the technique, so that for even this time Mayan architecture, they can see these how this they need to study the this type this construction and understand, and they can see solution how they can come up. Thank you.
Okay. So, what was the major challenge faced by you in this design? So, what was the thing that perhaps was most challenging, and then how you overcome that, and how did you finally get to this design?
Yes, talking about this, it's a really challenging site because the site is so linear. And for us, we designing a resort the first time for us, as we seen the program, and we have studied the how to understand learnings. This is a part of learning doing this trophy also. So we have while coming to the site, it's a linear site, and the challenging contours are there. So deciding where to come, what which zone should come first. So it takes a lot of time, but we have went through so many iterations and came up with the best solution that we came up. So we have chosen that luxuries as brief is more important to the study. So we have understood the brief meets luxury of the resort, not only just a sustainable GRIHA criteria mentioned. So we have understood like resorts which we have utilized the site contours. So not just instead of just taking a normal building for the resorts cottages, we have taken the higher contours and given 3 levels of cottages, so that the luxuriness like the first floor, second floor, the payback of the resort will be so that we came up with the idea. So that's why the jurors also on like our design, the payback of year also less compared to the other entries.
So, what is the payback period for your building entirely?
It was 3 years, 8 months.
Okay, that's nice. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for presenting. That is all the questions that I had. Let me just check if somebody has any questions in the YouTube live stream. Otherwise, we can move on to the next presentation.
Sure.
So, we've not received any other questions, but thank you so much for coming here and presenting. And I hope you can stay for the other presentations as well. Congratulations again on winning the trophy.
Sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you, NASA, for conducting these such type of competitions. Very motivational and learnings to us. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the next presentation. Uh, The 67th year GRIHA Trophy's special mention one went to Z612 Tyagarajar College of Engineering, and now I'd like to invite them to present their sheets and how they tackled the challenge.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Let me present. Okay, so hi, I'm Kirtana from Z6112, and I'm here with my teammate Shivani to present our entry Symbiosis. So Shivani.
You can just cross out the meeting window and make it full screen. Yeah, the three dots in the corner, upper right hand corner. Three dots you see, right? Click on that. Yeah.
Shivani, you can take over.
So yeah, firstly we started with debriefing the brief, and we got more topics to work on. So we have divided ourselves into two teams, which is one is the design, and the other one is the analysis part. Then actually I have a problem. So, starting with the climate analysis, which has the humidity, precipitation, and daylight data, and the strategies that we have used to tackle the climatic factors. And to the right side, you can see the socio-cultural analysis, in which we have learned about the people's behavior, and most of the people are involved in agricultural practices and trading agro products. And then environmental analysis, the major biodiversities were fishes, then the butterflies and the ant lions, which we have used in our projects for the later. Then combining these two, climate analysis and the socio-cultural analysis, we have derived our concept ideation, which is all about the agro-tourism, uh, which talks about the guest who comes to the resort, making them interact with the local environment, and it's all about the people and their importance. So we had a set of goals in our concept ideation, which is site-sensitive design, focusing on the site, and then the local biodiversity enhancing planning, and then the communal exchange of design, of knowledge and economical benefits. So major biodiversity was the butterflies and the lion antlines, which will be done in the further sheets. Then comes the master plan layout. I'm starting with the bitumen road, which provides the whole access to the site. And while we are doing the site plan, we separated the site into three zones. The first zone is all about the public access, which has more public access, which is the admin and the parking area. The parking area is also provided with the reclined brick pavers. And then the second zone, which has the recreation and the restaurant blocks, which is semi-public category. And then moving on along the contour, we have the local produce farming area, which is kind of a workshop for the guests who visit our resort. And then the final zone, which is of the cottages, private and semi-private cottages, along with the workshop pavilion. And then the topmost contour is of a butterfly deck, which overlooks the existing river stream given in the site context. And then moving to the landscape zoning, we had planned a complete landscape zoning for the site, mainly with native plants. And then the bottom of the site, which is full of water retaining plants, due to our drainage system analysis, which will be done in the further sheets. Then it is color coded, and in the first zone we have used the water retaining plants. In the second zone, local vegetables and fruits, where the workshop of local farm produce is happening. And then the third zone, which has water absorption, drought tolerant plants, thermal and aromatic sensory buffer plants. And the last deck has the colorful trees and plants, which attracts the butterfly. And that's it. Okay, next. Coming to the admin block, which is in the public zone. Admin block is of two floors, ground and first. In ground floor, we enter into the reception, and we have a staff dormitory. And leading through the steps, on the first floor, we have a multi-purpose hall with a stage and its back rooms, and few of the renters are done here. And then coming to the cottages, we have premium cottages and regular cottages. In premium, we had two type, which is queen and twin. Premium regular differs from premium by adding a deck. That's it, and it is placed in the higher contours, which is totally a private thing. And then the regular cottages are of three types: queen, twin, and bunk bed, and the renders. Next comes the recreational blocks, which is of restaurant and a swimming pool area. Okay, left side is the restaurant plan, and the ground floor is of a kitchen and a dining space. And this restaurant has a OTS area. And the first floor is of a rooftop dining kind of setting with a mini bar setup. And then the recreational block is of the swimming pool and spa area at the ground, and then the physical activity area and the relaxation area on the top. These two blocks are a twin block connected under a single roof, and the sections are given. Then comes the site section, in which all the zones are clearly explained. The public zone, which is of admin and car parking. The second zone is of restaurant and recreation with the local produce farm area. And then the last zone, and then the third zone is a fire camp and workshop pavilions with cottages. And the last one is of butterfly desk, uh, which has a overview of the river down, and it has a biodiversity like previously said, butterflies and antlines. These are the render images we are given. So Kirtana will continue with the analysis part.
Okay, so now we move on to a main topic that comes up in the brief, that is materiality and drywall construction systems. So right is when we started doing GRIHA, and right is when we established a team. We had a team from the start to finish to just research on materials that were available in the market, on site, and like from the start till the very end, till when we were doing analysis, we wanted that team to provide information on how can we procure it, how can we establish construction systems. And a result of all of that research is our composition. And right now, what you're seeing is our exploded cottage model. And in that, you'll see the floor assembly and the wall assembly, which is of a fiber cement, coconut coir and bagasse. Now, two of these materials in particular, which I think is very unique, is because we managed to find factories. Now, these two are byproducts. These two are waste byproducts, both coconut coir and bagasse board. You compress them to form a board. And I think the sourcing of these materials is from within and around factories around the site. And so I think site analysis in that sense really helped us source really unique biogenic materials for this project in particular. And right below these two assembly, you will see an experimental concept we tried to introduce. Now, this is a pollinator wall. My teammate mentioned our attempt to sort of bring biodiversity into nature-based resorts and living. So this is one attempt with bees becoming extinct and everything. This is a concept of housing solitary, non-aggressive bees. They are our primary pollinators. So this is nothing. This is just a wooden module. You have a cork board behind and organic material within. These will house the bees. And this is a type of concept you will only get the chance to sort of like experiment with this in these type of projects. You can't use it in a residential or an office building. This is a more of a hospitality type situation, and we thought it would be interesting to sort of inculcate this concept in. And on the left, you see the basic construction of our assembly, and below is the steel stud frame. This page will follow, again, the different assembly details for our roof, for our bottom slabs. And on the left in particular, we have a comparison of the admin wall and the toilet wall. We did highlight that the toilet wall needed much more waterproofing, so that is where we use CSCB. But the rest of the project in particular will involve your classic drywall construction systems in particular. And below are our wall joinery, the stud joinery diagrams. Now, these are your classic GRIHA standards and calculation topics. Now, when we started out doing GRIHA, we did a little bit of homework right before the brief came out. We were looking through previous year briefs, seeing what topics come up over and over. And just as when we got the brief, we were like, okay, we have an idea of how to take this project forward and how to establish it into topics. So we had different teams for different topics, and one such part is the analysis. So for water, as you see here on the left, you have a baseline calculation. That is, you don't use any strategies. Your project will take how much water without any strategies, how much consumption will occur. So that is on the left. And on the right are your strategies, low flow aerated systems, smart water meters and all of that, using landscaping features of topsoil preservation, sprinkler system, and combining all of this and combining use of biofuels and everything, we get about 54% of savings in water consumption. So that is what this sheet is supposed to imply. Another such topic is waste management, wherein again we use three types of strategies. One is we used a waste compactor to compact the amount of waste that is generated in a resort, and we reduce it by about 75%. In the center, you have your biodigester, which will produce about 2.2 to 2.7 of LPG consumption that you can use on site, LPG production, sorry. And then on the right, you have your vermicomposting fertilizer calculation, and we calculated that to produce about 18,000 kilograms per year. So that is under waste management. Sorry, I'm having a technical issue. Right, and this is energy optimization. Our energy generation mostly on site is through solar panels and solar water heaters. And that particular calculation is to the left, where we've produced a certain amount per year. And on the right, you have your strategies of double glazed openings, window blinds, and a daylight analysis of our twin building format of the recreation and the restaurant block, and which particular areas will preferably need lighting throughout the day, which don't need lighting throughout the day. So that type of conclusion can be derived through these analysis. And this page is a calculation of the indoor fixtures that we've used on within the building and how much energy that will consume. So comparing that to your generation, we save about 8,900 kilowatt per year, and that will lead to an EPA of about 73.7%. So this is a net positive building overall. I'm sorry, my screen gets stuck from time to time. Okay. Now, in this sheet to your right is the construction management plan we figured out right at the beginning of our initial zoning. So we have the temporary construction materials, which are the heavy metal yards that is color coded in red. And we also plan for permanent elements, which are your water recycling plant, your landscape water source, which are in blue. And to the left and below are your general GRIHA checklist. Instead of a checklist, we wanted to make it a lot more visual. So for every 80 square meters, you're supposed to have one tree plantation. That is a standard. And for every tree cut, you need to plant 3 trees. So all of these standards, we have more visual representation of it. So that is most of these strategies, use of tire foundation, use of a plastic mesh, use of closed waste transportation, a stilt fence, barriers around the site. And also, we have a focus on a lot more socio-economic strategies. Like my teammate mentioned, the concept is about agro-tourism. So having people, engage with the locals, learn their culture, their farming practices, have community kitchens. You need to provide them with motorized, non-motorized transport so they can go beyond the site and explore what the site and its surrounding features have to offer. And we also have a lot more barrier-free inclusive strategies, which is your ramp, your stairs, tactile flooring, a wheelchair lift. Now, this is your LCC and LCA analysis. The LCA analysis, following our embodied carbon, a baseline when you compare our wall to a standard RCC wall, a standard RCC wall will have an emission of 351, but our project will yield about 123. And most of the materials that is used in our project, you have a 57% chance that you can recycle it again. So that is the building circularity. And our LCC calculation, which follows uh, our values for each of the materials, the market values, and we've calculated the payback period for the entire project to be about 3.5 years. This is our summary following the 3 pillars of sustainability: the economic, environmental, and social cultural. The economic aspect being you're generating local labor, you have water savings by about 54%. You are generating excess manure on site, which you can even sell to the nearby agro lands. When we talk about environmental aspects, you're having people be educated about the local biodiversity, how to preserve those species, how to learn new farming practices. You're redefining cladding, as we mentioned, with that pollinator wall, and you also have improved air quality overall with the amount of vegetation that is on site. And to the right is your social cultural, which includes the workshops, incentives for exploration, and all of that. So those were our sheets. I will. Can I present the walkthrough?
Yeah, you can present. Make it full screen.
My screen is kind of stuck. I'll check that. I'll have Shivani present.
If there's an issue, it's all right. You don't need to present the walkthrough.
Yeah, so that's it for our entry.
Okay, sure. So I have some questions for you as well. Firstly, so the brief mentions that we have to create a luxury resort and then we have to make it sustainable. To me, these two are very opposite things to do. So luxury is the opposite of sustainability. When you design for luxury, you're intending to give them every possible thing, make the life easier whatever way you can without bec- when you're designing for luxury, you don't necessarily keep in mind sustainability, especially. And when you're designing for sustainability, you're trying to reuse materials, you're trying to decrease your energy consumption and trying to make it work with as less of a disruption to nature as possible. So these seemingly opposite concepts, how did you integrate both of them into your resort and come up with your sustainable luxury resort?
So the definition of luxury was something even we were debating within the team ourselves. So there were some people who were like, we need more. We need to provide a sort of an out. Some people had an outrageous definition of what luxury would be, while some people focused on experience. And ultimately, I think that is what our team was going with, in terms of what we can provide to our guests, in terms of what the site can provide, and sort of tying that together, culture, a guest experience, and ultimately that would be what you are offering on site. The different amenities is what we wanted to go through with our project, and I think that would be our definition of luxury in terms of how we've taken this through.
Okay. And what was one major challenge that you guys faced while completing the trophy? And how did you tackle it also?
So at the beginning, we mentioned splitting teams for each and every topic, and there were some teams they did not have work until like the very end, right? And so I think a big mistake that we did was being like, oh, they don't have work until the very end, so let's not prioritize them for this. But then everybody needs to know whatever is going on, even through the early drafts. So when they do their work, they will have an idea of this does not have to be done again, this mistake. So I feel like no matter what stage you're assigned as a teammate or if you're the project lead, have everybody be there even for the most mundane of meetings. Like that is a key aspect I would say everybody needs to follow. So that was a mistake and a lesson for us.
Okay, good. And lastly, again, the question I also asked the previous team. So, One other the thing that the brief mentions is that usually drywall is just used for interior partitions, but you needed to come up with some creative ways to integrate it in other possible ways and come up with different ways that you can use drywall in your project. So, how did you tackle that, and where all did you use the drywall, and how did it change your design strategy?
So first of all, in our project, we don't have a lot of interior partitions. It's mostly open spaces. So first thing we decided was we're going to have one solution that could form an exterior and an interior partition sort of solution. And the second one, the way we were able to sell our that this drywall composition would work out is in our explanation of sourcing it and it being a biogenic material, as in there's less carbon emission even in transportation, even in usage. So I feel like that sourcing and its explanation sort of, gave us a highlight in terms of explaining it to the jury and everything. So
Okay, let me just check if there are any questions on the YouTube live stream. Yes, we do not have any further questions. So thank you so much for presenting your sheets to us and sharing your design strategy. And now I think we can move on to the last presentation for today. So now we'll have with us Z432 Omdayal College of Architecture, who won the special mention 2 for the GRIHA Trophy last year.
Good evening, Yukti, and everyone present here. So, I'm Dishari Mandal from Umdal School of Architecture Z432, and along with me today, I have Shayak Odhikari, who is going to take over. So, I'm presenting my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So, starting with the name of our project, that is Bhumija Retreat. Bhumi Ja is a Sanskrit word where Bhumi means earth and Ja means born from. So we wanted something, a name that reflects a resort that is closely connected with nature, designed in harmony, local landscape and climate of Pune. So we've tried to blend it with the indigenous art form of Maharashtra, like wali painting, and also styles influence, jharoka, woodwork, everything in our design. So Bhumija retreat itself means born from the earth. So, starting with the site analysis, our analysis was mostly a context driven one. Like, we focused mostly on the local climate, user analysis, and everything beyond. So, as per the site, which is located in Pune, Maharashtra, so we made a brief study about what the air quality index over there is, which is 232, very unhealthy. The contour study, which has an average elevation of 722 meters, and it was a varying contour, like between 106 meter and 1500 meters. So before starting with any project, we have to analyze the whole site. That is, what is the SWOT analysis and the site issues that we need to tackle with. So the strengths were like a scenic beauty with a stream and a mountain view, which enhanced a guest appearance. It was very close to Navi Mumbai, which ensures a high tourist potential. The weakness in this site was a high infrastructure cost due to a challenging terrain and seasonal monsoon rains may affect the occupancy and accessibility. The opportunities where ecotourism and adventure activities like hiking, wellness retreats can be easily integrated in this site. And threats were like there's due to a contour site, the environmental risks like landslides and floods may pertain. So, our design concept, we followed a very organic flow concept, which means that a natural and smooth way like nature. So, the buildings in our whole site were placed closely together in clusters, and curvilinear paths were provided for easy movement and a smooth movement. And our design reflected that one space flows into the another without any sharp breaks or any straight geometry. So, we have integrated vernacular architecture of Pune as well. Like, we have included Jharoka in our facade treatment. Jharoka was a projecting window which will act as a very nice, as we are making a resort. So it has to be very much uh, beautifully appear to the tourists as well. So we have included wall paintings in our facade treatments. And universal design access to the site is planned in such a way that is easily accessible by people of all kinds, and ramps, lifts, and other connecting and other means of access are provided at the connecting points, thus making the overall design universally accessible. And in our cottages, we have uh, used a octagonal roof with a skylight, which ensures a natural ventilation, daylighting, and efficient rainwater management, which is ideal for Pune's climate. And we have provided a self-sustained shedding for vehicles throughout our site, which means that the shedding of the vehicles were provided with a solar panel that will also act as that will also generate electricity for charging the e-vehicles. So this is a construction site plan, so that we can provide a healthy working environment for the workers as well. So we have provided various areas during the construction stage, like the built-up area, topsoil preservation area, the workers dwelling unit and sanitation area, and cover for storing materials, dumping zone, and waste collection areas, which are ideally required during the throughout the construction process. Like the speed limit of the vehicle movement on the site should be 10 kilometers per hour. Then vehicles carrying waste materials out of the sites are needed to be covered. We have intended to provide a wheel washing facility, which is provided at the vehicular entrances during the construction to reduce the air pollution. And a 3-meter continuous barricading will also be provided to avoid any hazard. And next is our site plan. So upon entering our site, we have two entry and exit gates. And on entering, we have open parkings. And here on both the ends, we have security kiosks. Next, we have souvenir shops on one side and food stores on another side, which will mainly attract the tourists the most. And then we have a common reception and cafeteria zone. Along with that, we have a walking exhibition area, so that where we can display the uh, wally paintings and other paintings, like which will obviously attract the tourists coming here. And here we have provided dormitories, like 3 dormitories on each side. And then this is a clubhouse, and with banquet and restaurant and air theater. And here we have provided seating zones. And also here we have, in a radial manner, we have tried to provide twin cottages with a watchtower at the center, and at the rear end of the site we have provided tents for camping. And in services, we have provided like a root zone treatment plant, electric substation, topsoil preservation, and also public toilets. So the site is basically divided into three parts: the public zone, the semi-public zone, and the private zone. Next, these are the twin cottages and dormitories. The twin cottages have bedrooms, a common living room, a toilet, balcony, and a porch at the front. In the dormitory, we have a bedroom and living room common with a toilet and a balcony. So here we have, as I have said, that we have provided octagonal roof with skylights. So here are the renders, and in the facade treatments is mainly done with the charoka, which are placed over here, and also the wally paintings. Next, we have the clubhouse with banquet. It has two entrances from the ground floor, and also we have provided a circular staircase so that an individual can also access the first floor through the staircase. And upon entering, we have the banquet on one end, or the multi-purpose hall on one end, the restaurants on the other end, with a kitchen, pantry, and toilets. At the center, we have provided a swimming pool with a jacuzzi or a baby pool. And upon entering the first floor, we have a gym space, a yoga space, a spa and sauna space for male and female, a changing room and a locker room with common toilets in the corridor space and balcony. And this is reception and cafe. And here we have the main entrance, where we have a reading area or a waiting lounge, a reception, a green area for plantation, the office, and a cloakroom. And on the first floor, we have divided a cafe with a deck and a serving zone.
Thank you, Dishari. So now moving on to the materials. One of the main focus of our brief was to use the drywalls, and to fulfill that we have used different type of drywall throughout our construction, which are green walls, drywall partition for HVAC room and chiller plant room, Also, a dry wall with hollow terracotta tubes from which water is being dipped throughout to convert the hot air into cool air to keep the inside environment cool. Uh, then materials like grass pavers, gypsum boards, cool roof coating or lime roof coating, non-VOC paints, insulated glass panels, etc. are also incorporated in our design. We have installed sensors like solar power sensors, water and air quality sensors throughout our site to make it more efficient and sustainable. Below are the few proposed plants which we have used in our or planted in our site after the construction. Next, a few design strategies like using trees as a sound barriers, grey water treatment, vertical gardening, or cool pavements have been used in our site. Also, the installation of kinetic tiles and outdoor solar lighting we have used to optimize the energy consumption of our site. Also, we have incorporated the organic waste management cycle to ensure a proper hygiene and clean environment through our site. We have also installed root zone treatment plant in our site. Uh, Next, next we have the simulations which we have studied during the process. First, we have the shadow time analysis, which we have studied throughout the year for 12 months at a particular at a same time, like at 8 a.m. Then we have luminous intensity of a site, which we have made with Velux simulator, and at last the wind simulation of a site to study the wind throughout the year. Next, these are some basic calculations which we have done during the process, like HVAC or material usage statistics or material costing of our site to gather the information while designing our whole building or the site. This was a sheet. We have a walkthrough, so can we present? These are few site renders also. So can we present our walkthrough?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Okay, I'll have a few questions for you as well. So, my first question is, what do you think was the most important part of the design and the brief to what was the most important part of it to crack that helped you win the competition?
Uh, uh, in the brief, it was written that we have to construct an eco-friendly resort, which will be both luxurious, which blend harmoniously with luxury and sustainability. So at first, we had to crack this whole idea because this too itself has different definitions, luxury and sustainability. So the framework initially felt challenging, but as we progressed, it helped us to understand sustainability in a more practical manner. Like initially, we focused more on design, presentation, and everything. But Griha itself, understanding the 30 criterions, learning each of them while throughout the design process, is like we have to think about the long term impact of a design and its efficiency. So I thought that this was the most difficult part we have to tackle with at the initial phase of our design.
Okay. My next question is, what was your approach to sustainability? Like, did you have separate teams working on sustainability and separate teams working on design, and then you design the structure and then sort of try to put sustainability on it? Or did you make the design as well as the sustainable part of the design at the same time?
Okay, so being a part of Griha for like the last 2 years, we have a hierarchy, like few people who have worked before in this team, like worked for Griha in this team. So taking their like help and everything by heart, each member of our team we like memorize the 30 criterions of Griha, so that whenever I can ask every member about something, so everyone can sort things out in their own self. So we had a separate team who had been focusing on the design development part, a separate team who was related to the only study part, like understanding the site studies and everything, and a separate team who were doing the calculations, because in Griha the calculation is also a major part we have to focus on. So that's how we initially divided the whole team and worked on the sheets all together.
Okay. Lastly, so usually dry walls are only available in straight shapes, and your design entirely is made of curved shapes and curves everywhere, circular forms. So, because drywall is not usually available in curved forms, and if you would want to make it in curved forms, then you'll have to specially order it, and then basically that would raise the cost of your design. So, how did you tackle that? Because usually that is not the case with drywall.
So basically, we we know that the drivers are not in curved shape, but to tackle that, we have researched the curve-shaped drywalls in which we have used some like Pabloflex gypsum panels, which are used for curved drywalls because normal gypsum boards are can't be curved or used as a curved drive in a curved drywall. So we have found materials and researched on that for by which we can make curved drywalls, in which we have used studs as a basic structural membrane over which we have used the flex gypsum panels to make it in curved shapes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that is all the questions that we have. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
And
you.
if you have any suggestions or any
Thank
tips
you.
and tricks for the students who are participating in the trophy this year, you can share it as well.
I definitely want this Griha Trophy a bit more learning for the students, because this winners way will obviously motivate everyone to come across this trophy. And it's a great thing for Griha. Like every year they try to incorporate a newer things for us to understand. Like this year we were completely blank about what rival construction is, but we learned it from the base, like how it's constructed and everything, so how it can be implemented in our design. So this trophy is a thing that can like encourage everyone to learn new things, and also the 30 criterions which we come across, it's like it's a learning throughout our life which will help both in our academic and professional lives later. So that's all. Thank you, Yukti.
Okay, thank you, Dishari and team. And I would also like to thank all the three colleges who joined us today to help guide the newer edition of the trophy and to help the students understand how they can tackle the trophy itself this year and to hear from the winners itself what their winning strategies were. So I hope it was a very learning experience for all of the people who attended today, and I hope it will help them in completing their own challenge of the GRIHA Trophy of this year. And with that, I think we can conclude the winner's way for GRIHA Trophy on a high note. I wish you all the best, and I wish all the best to all the students who are watching to take inspiration for this year's GRIHA Trophy. Thank you so much, everyone.